Oh my God.
Amazing.
I didn't mean for that whole thing to play, but
why not?
It's such a great track.
Oh God, I just love how the way it ends. It's like a chord is like it's dissonant. It's odd
so great.
or whatever. I don't know the musical term for that. But.
Yeah, as soon as this topic came up, that was the first song that came to mind.
Yeah, of course.
It just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the contrast of that song to the rest of the album and just how it works.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, it was great. Great.
Incredible.
Well, anyway, good morning. Welcome to I Hate Music.
Morning.
Episode 67 now.
Wow. Dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
And fourth with you, I believe, right?
Cool.
I mean, you were a guest before.
One time, yep.
But fourth as co-host.
Nice.
Thanks for joining me once again.
So happy.
Today we're going to be talking about acoustic music and metal, why acoustic music can be metal, and also Thanksgiving music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Might be a little bit of a surprise for you, but
damn.
I've got a huge fucking list of Thanksgiving music.
No, you don't.
Yeah, like all these like turkey songs and fucking like Pilgrim Rock and shit like
Pilgrim Rock. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we are doing this with my very good friend Nathanael Larochette, all the way from Canada. He'll be joining us in a little bit to talk about acoustic music.
Awesome.
You may know him from projects such as Musk Ox, The Night Watch, his solo work, his work with Apedaile. He's played with us on stage a few times. The man is possibly the best guitarist I know.
I think so. I have not seen him live, but I mean, he's incredible.
I know Don Anderson. I know Kevin Huffnagel. And I still think Nathaniel is better.
Nice.
The guy's a genius.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy. Very handsome.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good note.
Canadian.
He's Canadian.
Yep. So, we're going to be talking about that. I would like to go over a couple of things real quick, though.
Okay.
I'd like to go over a couple corrections.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
That's probably something I screwed up. I'm sure I said some stupid shit.
Something I screwed up and something we both screwed up.
Okay, damn.
Last episode, we were talking about Halloween shit.
Yeah.
I got at least 5 messages from people yelling at me for us neglecting Type O until like halfway through the episode.
Sure.
So
I mean, we did mention them.
We did. So. I mean, we remembered, but it was a glaring oversight.
Yeah, right.
The other thing is I feel bad about this, but I credited my friend, my late friend Catherine Ludwig, with writing the lyrics to Biotech is Godzilla.
Okay.
In fact, she wrote the lyrics for Criminals in Uniform, which is a B-side from Arise.
Very good.
So,
nice.
My mistake.
How was that connection made? Do you know the story behind that? That would be interesting to know.
Why I said that?
No, Sepultura and her.
Oh, I think her and Gloria were close.
Oh, okay.
Her friend. I mean, Metal Maniacs and that whole thing.
Yeah, sure.
And,
Okay.
I don't know all the ins and the outs, but yeah.
Oh.
So anyway,
You're forgiven.
We both fucked that up a little bit.
Okay. Why are you roping me into it? I don't know if I had anything to do with that.
Well, I mean, the Type O part, man.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we both fucked that up.
Actually, I'm not a huge Type O fan.
I mean, I'm not that huge either.
So why,
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people were bummed.
They weren't that important to me because we were older at that time too, and they weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't hitting as hard.
I mean, I liked
Sure.
Bloody Kisses, October Rest.
It's cool that stuff was in the mainstream. Actually, it was good music for being in the mainstream.
Yeah, for sure. Especially October Rest is pretty dense.
And
forward thinking in a lot of ways, and also kind of regressive in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Peter was a little bit controversial.
Is he? Yeah.
A little problematic.
Yeah, well, he had opinions. Is that why?
Well, he was
in Playgirl and stuff.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know if I'd call him like misogynist, but like Carnivore definitely was.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know much about him.
Yeah,
I mean, I have the biography on him right here somewhere that Jeff wrote.
Put it on your pile here. Read that.
No, I read it, but I read it years ago.
Okay.
I know that he made some good music and he died. So.
That's the case for so many artists out there.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
So I wanted to do a quick call out. Nice. Not a shout out, a call out.
Okay.
My family and I recently went on a trip to Santa Fe.
Nice.
And I know that you went there a little while ago as well.
Yes, this year though.
Yes.
Or April or May.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We were there like a few weeks ago. Did a lot of really cool shit. I went into this record store downtown Santa Fe.
Okay.
Can't remember the name of it.
Nice.
But it was really, really small. And they had a metal section that was about as big as like 3 hams if you're to like line them up.
3 hams. The turkey you're doing it's like a Thanksgiving.
You got
riff.
it, man.
Nice
You got
job,
it. Yeah.
Dude.
Like 3 hams.
Yeah.
They had black metal labels and black metal bands I've never heard of in there.
Okay. Wow.
I had no idea what any of it was.
Wow.
I didn't buy anything because, that'd be crazy. But I'm just wondering if anybody that listens is from Santa Fe or New Mexico, knows about these like local labels, these local bands.
Did you do any research afterwards to figure out if they were local or not? I wonder.
What
kind of scene would that be?
Sorry, it said local New Mexico metal on the thing.
Oh, wow.
So I would only assume that it's local.
Yeah.
I should have taken some photos and researched it or something, but I thought hey, maybe somebody knows about that stuff, that scene. I don't know.
That would be interesting to hear about.
Yeah.
Because it's a relatively small town.
Yeah, relatively small.
How much music could be coming from there?
Right. Or New Mexico at large,
Besides perimenopausal women putting out flute music,
I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
I'm sure.
Some Andre 3000 shit.
Nice, dude. Nice.
So anyway, if anybody knows anything about that scene, please shoot us an email at hate.pod.music@gmail.com.
Yep.
I also, really quick, wanted to bring up a couple of shows that we saw recently.
Yeah, we did.
We went and saw Suffocation and Incantation last week.
Amazing.
Dude, Suffocation still kills it.
So good.
We've seen them 3 times in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Each time.
The new singer, man. He's got great energy.
And so good.
And they're tighter than ever.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's going on. But
no, they're crazy good.
Yeah.
Incantation's great, obviously, as well. It was really fun.
Yep.
It was a cool show.
Great show.
A few people
A lot of people there.
Yeah.
It was crowded.
Yeah. That dude, there's this dude in the pit, and he was grasping his chest and making all these faces.
To me, he was like, my heart, my heart, my heart. And I started worrying for him pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And I was like, dude, are you okay? And he put his arm around me. He's sweating all over me.
Exactly, yeah.
And he's like, I'm 47. I'm too old for this shit. And I was like, dude, I'm 48. What
I'm
are you talking
47
about?
too. What the fuck, dude? Everybody here is that age.
Yeah, everybody here. Those guys on stage are probably twice your age. They're 92. But that guy was kind of a trip.
Yeah, and so I was comforting him as well, and he was talking about that, and he was like, I got a family, dude. I got a family. I thought he was going to die, and I was like, should I call somebody for you? He's like, no, I'm good. And fucking 10 seconds later, dude, he was back in the pit. Nothing happened.
And then he'd get out, and he'd do this, and he'd lean on me. He's like, oh, man, my heart. I'm like, dude, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, and also we went and saw, well, not my band, but a band I am in sometimes, F-Space.
Nice.
That was awesome.
I'd never seen that. Would they have a tube of steel with a flame bursting through it with a bunch of gas going through it?
Yeah, it's a bunch of,
cool.
what do you call it, propane.
Propane.
Shooting through this big tube that's got plays on, and his sticks catch on fire. And
he's playing springs, like
there's springs in there.
Thick springs. Yeah. Really cool. And they had a female fire dancer as well, which is exciting to watch.
Yep.
I was actually 3 feet from her, and she put the thing in her mouth on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you do that? Do you have a calloused tongue, or
she drinks whatever that liquid is, and then it catches the liquid on fire. It's just like when somebody lights their arm on fire.
It's a kind of it's a material or a fluid that doesn't put a lot of heat. Somehow it absorbs the heat.
It acts as a barrier or whatever somehow. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was really good.
It's all tricks.
It's all tricks, man. It's all tricks.
We could all be fire breathers. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, we could. I don't want to.
No, me either.
But we could. Okay. Moving on again. I feel like I'm rushing it for some reason. I'm just excited.
We have a guest here that we need to get to.
We have a guest waiting in the green room right now that we have to get to. He's waiting in the green room in up north. In Ottawa? Yeah, Ottawa. You're in Ottawa. Yes, he's in Ottawa. Okay. Wow. Anyway, so I'm not trying to rush it, but we do have a few things I want to go over.
Okay.
As always, check out the earthandsound.org web store for I Hate Music merch, Dolvin merch.
Yep. What do you got left?
I've got some records. I think I'm out of shirts. I'm out of Dolvin shirts now.
Shirts are gone. Good. I got a bunch of records and tapes.
I've got the records and the tapes. I think I have some CDs too.
Okay.
But yeah, Moonbladder shit, Snares of Sixes, all sorts of crazy. F-Space stuff is on there too.
Nice. Oh, cool. Did you record something with them, or?
I did, but it's only on Bandcamp.
Oh, nice.
But I think they're thinking about maybe recording next year. Not really sure.
With you?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Maybe.
What kind of merch do they have on your site?
CDs.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, got some CDs on there. I also have a bunch of old I Hate Music hoodies that are discounted. I can't remember how much they're selling for. I want to say $10.
Nice.
But
wow.
I've got 10 left, and I would love to move those out because I'm now accepting pre-orders for the new design, which is the Napalm Death Scum design.
Awesome.
Going to be placing the orders for that probably the next couple of weeks. So if you want to get your size, please order it now. Yeah. Also, I want to mention we have a playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, we do.
Check it out. It's called I Hate Music.
It looks like you've been emptying every couple of weeks or whenever we do a show.
Yeah, whenever we do a show, I purge the old stuff.
Okay, cool.
And then we add new stuff that relates to the show.
Yeah, nice.
We updated it this morning, and you put a shit ton on there. And
It's
then
the easiest
I did
thing
too.
in the world
I
to
did
find,
too, man.
like acoustic and metal.
We have like 31 songs on there right now. I think
No
it's
problem.
like over 2 hours.
I could have kept going easy.
Yeah. So please check that out. Lastly, I would like to read a couple of listener emails.
Okay, cool.
Nathanael, you okay? Waiting in the green room there?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Okay. Our virtual green room. Okay. This is from a guy named Tyson, sent from his iPhone. Oh,
R. Tyson?
I don't think so.
Different Tyson.
His email says Boston Tilly. That's definitely not our Tyson.
No. Okay.
Anyway, this guy says, "Hey, Nick and Jason. It's great to have you guys back doing this whole thing again. I loved in the last episode how you guys talked specifically about shows or tours that you would have seen, and two immediately come to mind for me, and follow it with a question. The big dream one would be seeing Typo Negative during the October Rust tour, or when they would bring out leaves, branches, and other assorted things related to nature, as well as using fake snow during Too Late. I saw that tour.
Oh, you did? Cool. Did you remember them doing that?
I do remember them doing that.
That's cool.
The other one that I could immediately think of from watching footage of it so many times is Neurosis during the touring cycle for Through Silver and Blood, with Scott and Steve doing percussion alongside Jason Roeder, as well as having Noah being fresh in the band and Pete doing visuals.
What year are we thinking? I think I probably saw that too. They were opening for so many bands.
Yeah, I feel like I could be wrong, but I want to say it's like late 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I saw them at Hurricane definitely, at least once.
I saw them at First Ave in Minneapolis at least once.
Yeah.
And I think it was around that time.
They were touring nonstop, it seemed, at that time.
Yeah. Okay, and now this needs... Sorry, I can't read. And now this needs to my question... Oh, that was his fuck up. Come on, Tyson. Jesus. Okay. I'm just going to read what he wrote, because...
Yeah.
And now this needs to my question, because Jason brought up how it would have been crazy to see Pink Floyd at Pompeii, but you would have to be a fly on the wall type of situation.
Yeah.
So now that leads me to wonder, which records would you guys like to have been flies on the wall for during their creation?
Yeah, amazing.
For me, the easiest answer would be Disembowelment recording Transcendence into the Peripheral.
Wow, this guy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Simply because we know next to nothing about that record outside of a few scant sources. I love hearing what you guys talk about, and your guys' banter is just hilarious. Keep up the good work, and I can't wait for the next episode.
Wow. Fly on the wall at a studio. Or
during
maybe
a
dude's 4-track player.
Yeah, whatever. I mean...
Wow.
Like, what record would you want to be a fly on the wall?
I mean, first Iron Maiden or something. That would be incredible to be like the Soundhouse Studios, wherever they did that. And I mean, they were probably there for only an hour, though. You know, it wasn't much time. They're just like busting these songs out.
What about AC/DC's Fly on the Wall?
Fly on the wall for that would be great.
Yeah.
That's a good one. How about you? I can't think of any off the hand. You know, maybe ones that are incorporating some studio magic would be interesting to observe.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what I'm looking for. I mean, Disco Volante, of course.
Yeah, of course, classic albums. Yeah.
Any of the Ramones records.
Oh yeah, about that would be incredible.
I mean, just my favorite bands.
Yeah,
like The Real Thing. Fuck man, or like In the Nightside Eclipse. Like any of that shit would be amazing. La Masquerade and For Now.
Yeah,
fuck
Jesus,
yeah,
how they put that together.
Yeah, Wild Honey. I mean,
how about like in the '70s, seeing Yes or Genesis like compose and put everything together on a reel to reel or whatever the fuck they were doing back then. Yeah. Or that must have been incredible.
Or like some of those Beatles.
Oh yeah,
records,
sure. Yeah, putting in the sounds and the orchestra and that would be cool.
That would be really cool.
Being at Abbey. Let's just go
Abbey
to Abbey
Road. Yeah, for sure.
That would be the best one.
Yeah.
Let's just go to Abbey Road. Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be great. Okay, let's go to Abbey Road.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
We've only got two, and then we'll move on to our Canadian friend. Okay, this is from, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Kyle Heater.
Okay.
Hey, Jason and Nick. Love the pod and so excited that it's backed. New format is great and makes my day when a new episode drops. Oh, thanks, Kyle. Sweet of him. Had to pause the most recent one when you mentioned metal from Alaska because it unlocked a random memory from my MySpace times. There was a really small label studio out of Anchorage called Ruined Fire Records, and I'd interacted with the owner a little through private messages. He ended up sending me a sampler that's probably still sitting on a spindle somewhere collecting dust. Curiously, only half the bands on the roster were from Alaska. The other half were explicitly from Iowa.
Weird.
That is weird.
Pretty far from Alaska.
Yeah. And then he sends a link to the label and to the sampler. And then he said, here's some bands that were from Alaska.
Okay, let's hear it.
Merkvid, Chased Through the Woods, and Bound by Entrails. Bound by Entrails, they moved to Wisconsin, but they're still active.
Huh.
Anyway, thanks for the show and stoked for the next episode. Cool.
Well, that means the biggest one was probably the one we named, 36 Crazy Fists. Like,
oh, yeah, for sure.
What else?
I would think.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Okay.
We should get an Alaskan expert in here.
We should.
We know one.
We do, but does he know that shit?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Let's listen to just a real brief snippet of Chased Through the Woods.
Okay.
Because I like that name.
That's a cool name, yeah.
It's live.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Okay, let's listen.
What year are we talking?
I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, let me go back. Let me see what it says. Yeah, I don't know.
Death metal.
I don't know. And one of the guys is wearing a white T-shirt. Okay.
What's your deal, bro? Well, you can't wear a white T-shirt in death metal bands?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't like that, do you?
No. Unless it's Blood Incantation, because they're doing it to be antagonistic.
Okay.
Okay, that's a live sample. I don't really want to end on that. Let's check out this Merkvid and see.
Okay, nice.
Got some dungeon synth vibes.
I'm all about the dungeon synth right now.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Okay, this is the entire record, so I'm just going to skip forward a little bit.
Okay. Just maybe that's an intro. Oh, yeah, it was. Nice.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's like black metal, atmospheric, kind of interesting. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Kyle.
What was it? Merkin?
That was Merkvid.
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 Spell it.
Mirkvid.
Huh. Nice.
I'm pretty sure that there's a few Merkvids, but
okay.
Yeah, whatever. That's cool. Well, thanks for letting us know about some Alaska
that's nice.
stuff. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Well, should we welcome our friend Nathanael?
Let's do it. I'm real excited about this.
Nathanael, come on out of the green room. Can you
Hey,
find
good
your
evening,
way?
everyone. It's nice to be here. Where are you guys from?
Can you find your way out of the green room and over?
I'm here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
You and I were talking a few weeks ago, and you had the idea for this topic, I do believe, right?
I suggested it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
And who would be more perfect?
Who would be more perfect? I don't know.
This is...
Yeah. Can you start us off with a joke?
Put me on the spot here.
Yes, I am.
What did the magician say before cutting his assistant in two?
I don't
Nice
know.
to meet you.
Oh God.
That's pretty good. Good
Yeah.
dad joke there.
What did the assistant say after being cut in two? Thank you for having me.
Ah.
Wow.
Figured a little death metal joke.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
That's
Perfect.
good. That's really good.
Thank
That's
you.
really good. Well, yeah, Nathanael, thanks for joining us. This is going to be really cool, getting your perspective on this. In my opinion, you are someone who very much focuses on acoustic music within the metal framework, even though you don't play a ton of metal.
Yeah.
It's like metal adjacent for whatever reason, and that's kind of what I want to get to the crux of.
That's right.
Like these labels like Prophecy and there's so much acoustic music that is metal adjacent, but like, why is it metal adjacent? Like, why do those things work so well?
Yeah. What makes it that? Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
And the history and what about that speaks to you? Yeah. I just want to get your thoughts on all that.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting. It's hard to explain, but I feel like the past kind of 20 years of my life have sort of been dictated by acoustic music, acoustic adjacent metal music in some strange way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that even in the early days of Musk Ox and just it all kind of started with just becoming a metalhead as a kid, and then for me it was like the late 90s is really when I started getting really into metal, and then just hearing these bits and pieces of acoustic music appearing in metal albums and just thinking like, oh, that was really cool. Like, why was it only 1 minute long?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
obviously,
Yeah. Exactly.
obviously discovering the Mantle kind of just like blew my mind, wide open. And because there was so much acoustic in there. And then, my thought was, I love these like acoustic interludes. They're acoustic, but they're dark, but they're only a minute long. Like, what if that was like a full album, And
Yeah.
that was kind of part of the original sort of like exploration for me of just like trying to do this kind of like long form acoustic music that had those kind of more dark, I guess, minor sounding chords. And and then eventually I discovered some of the Prophecy bands, and kind of this scene that kind of still doesn't quite have a name. I thought it was neo-folk at one point, but then when I researched it, that was kind of a separate thing.
Yeah.
And then people call it nature folk or dark folk or whatever. And I think that that's kind of actually helped it as a genre because it's always been this weird kind of fringe thing. But and it's also funny because, as a teenage Agalog fan, like I never imagined that like learning acoustic music would be the like Super Mario Warp Tunnel to like collaborating with one of my favorite bands. Like if I ever told somebody back then, like, this is my favorite metal band, I wish I could collaborate with them, they'd probably say play metal. But somehow by doing acoustic music, I ended up, just on this journey. And I think the fact that it was kind of niche, I think helped it sort of, I don't know, kind of be a little bit different or something. Even like doing like opening for you guys way back in like 2011, just doing a solo acoustic set. But that was perfect because, those fans, they understood the connection with those things.
Right.
And I think also, at a metal show, sometimes like having 6 metal bands is like a bit much, and
It's a lot.
throwing an acoustic intro, but I mean,
Well,
yeah,
Agalog were always good about having bands that were obscure or not even metal. A lot of times, open up for them, and
That's
I
what we
think
tried
that
to do. Yeah.
it kind of opened up that world to a lot of the metal bands for sure that were there for, they were surprised to see these kind of bands. So I know I was.
Yeah. I like to see something different than the band I'm like than the headliner band. I want to see a variety of stuff. So like when you had opened for us, like that was perfect. Makes a lot of sense,
Yep.
But in terms of like where this kind of comes from, I mean, bringing up this topic it's something that I'm passionate about and that I've always sort of talked about in interviews, just like how is acoustic metal when it isn't really, but it kind of is, and why do metalheads like acoustic music? And I'm not even really sure like where we should even begin with this. Like I can talk about maybe some bits, like some sort of like breadcrumbs that I found along the way, like some obvious ones that sort of like set me off on the journey. Like some obvious ones would be like, for me, whenever people talk about like, oh, acoustic and metal, how is it metal? I always tell them to listen to Battery by Metallica.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that intro, it's like you listen to that intro and it's just like nylon string guitars, and it's an amazing riff, but it's kind of dark. And then they play it verbatim just heavy, and it's almost like the heaviness was always there. It was just kind of like hinting at it. And then it's kind of like the the oncoming storm in a way. And I think that's probably where a lot of the acoustic element came into metal, because it created that sort of juxtaposition, right? Like, and sticking with Metallica, right? Like fight fire with fire, like when you listen to that intro, it almost sounds like a medieval like bard, you know what I mean? But it sort of like sets you in this mood, and then it sort of like, I think that's something that you experience is it gives you that sort of palate cleanse to make the heaviness heavier, because if it's heavy all the time, you know what I mean? You need a bit of that dynamic to be reminded of, like, to get that sort of like impact, And I think that in the early days, not even in the early days, but in the history of metal, that's been utilized a lot.
I mean, Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath was doing it. They did Orchid, and that was in between, Lord of this World, and like, another really heavy song. So it's really cool that they did that in the 70s too.
Yeah,
and I think like at Rainbow and bands like that were doing it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's funny actually, because I was thinking about it today in the context like of emotional, because there's something about an acoustic guitar that's like very solitary, and there's kind of like there's a heaviness that comes with solitude, and as we've learned, like being alone, and it's like, I feel like metal we sometimes associate with like, oh, it's like you're angry, or like, but I feel like anger and sadness are kind of like they're kind of like two sides of the same coin, and it's almost like there's this like solitude and kind of sadness, and like just a lonely acoustic guitar that can be just as heavy as like expressions of anger, So to me, that's sort of something I was thinking of conceptually, just like how metal, a lot of like angry metal might actually be rooted in sadness. Like, you might be writing a song about war and how you're pissed off about it, but like you're also really sad about it too, and I don't think we talk much about sadness in metal. It's usually like kind of anger in metal, but that's kind of what I was thinking with the acoustic, where it's sort of like, for some reason for me too, when I started playing acoustic guitars, like, I don't know if it was because I grew up in like a rural place with a lot of nature, but like just that sound of the acoustic, it's a very kind of woodsy sort of feel. And to me, that sort of like, I don't know, for some reason, the forests and that kind of natural thing plays a lot in metal, whether it's like black metal or like this sort of, that kind of environmental, thing. And so, like you were talking about the early Emperor and, like the vast forest and all these kinds of things, like there's something very like intense about like, a blizzard in a forest or something, like a force of nature, but then like just the weight of just the like solitude and the weight of just kind of like being alone in the woods, which is kind of what an acoustic guitar kind of summons. I feel like
Kveldsanger.
Yeah, 100%. Like, to me, that is Ulver's Kveldsanger is like, that was a game changer for me. And
hell yeah,
I can't think of another. If there's another example before that, I'd love to hear it, maybe from the listeners, but like of a metal band doing a purely acoustic album.
Full acoustic, I don't think it.
I think that one is that's kind of like that pretty much birthed the entire like dark folk genre.
Yeah, it did.
That was on my list here of things to talk about. That was one of the top ones. Like, if you could identify like the first record, the strictly metal band making an all acoustic record, the earliest one I can think of is Kveldsanger.
Yeah, like Opeth were doing some acoustic stuff on Orchid, which predates that a little bit, but that wasn't. But in terms of like a fully realized,
and
like,
also that one, and then later on, Green Carnation's acoustic verses.
Nice, that's so good.
Yeah, that's a great one as well.
That was,
and obviously the White EP.
Yep. The White
amazing.
EP. Yeah, but like I think it was, Kveldsanger definitely, like, in my opinion, kind of like spawned that whole thing. But I feel like Green Carnation's acoustic verses almost kind of like solidified it. And then after that, I felt like I just started seeing that type of thing more and more, like more and more people or bands doing these acoustic records. And then I felt like after that, like all these dark folk or whatever you want to call it, bands were popping up after that too.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like there was, Kveldsanger, which was I think like 96, and then there was like the Imperium acoustic record, where At Night the Woodgrouse plays, which is 90, which is like 99. And even when I was talking to Marcus from Imperium at Prophecy Fest, he was saying like, oh yeah, we were just copying Hovard and
right.
you know, and over, right? And even when and it's the same when I was talking to the guys from Tenhi, which is a band that I absolutely love.
I forgot about Tenhi. Yeah.
When it comes, and what's funny is like they were never a metal band, but they came from metal originally, and so they're, to me, like they're my like whatever, like just top of the top when it comes to acoustic, like dark acoustic bands.
Yeah,
no one really does it like them. They sort of like, I feel, took Valtsanger and then kind of just like made an entire kind of career out of it in their own kind of way. But so it's almost felt like, I kind of feel like Musk Ox was almost kind of like second wave in a sense. Like it was like we were all, because I started with Musk Ox, you know, this was like mid 2000s, so I guess like about 10 years after Kveldsanger. And then there was bands like, there's one called like Vali coming out of Norway, and then Nest, who you guys collaborated with.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was also like your collaboration with Nest also kind of led me towards that as well. Like, okay, what is this like foresty acoustic music that's kind of dark? Like, it's very interesting, but that's still very fringe. It's still kind of a very fringe genre. And even with the music that I make, like with Musk Ox, like the first Musk Ox record, I would say kind of fits in that was pure like Imperium and Tenhi and Ulver worship, you know, and then it sort of went into a whole other direction where I haven't really made, like, I guess maybe my most recent one, like Old Growth, is maybe like, yeah, actually with Old Growth, that was me kind of trying to do like a solo dark folk record, because that's another thing you don't really see so much in dark folk. It's a lot of layered stuff, which like makes me want to shout out Nucleus Torn. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I've heard of them, but I don't
yeah,
know them.
Yeah. So they did a record in 2004, but I think it was written in the mid 90s. It's called, I'm going to pronounce it poorly. It's like Krahen Konigin or something. And it's a 4-song, just solo guitar kind of nature folk EP. That's really amazing. And so that was the only example of like kind of nature folk solo guitar music that I had ever experienced, and sort of like inspired a lot of my stuff later on.
Were you inspired by any classical, guitarists or Segovia or something like that? I mean, it seems like your influences have come from other places as well. Yeah.
Like I studied classical guitar for a year.
Oh, nice.
And so I learned some like, I never listened to that much classical guitar music, but I learned some like different repertoire from like, you know, romantic stuff and like some Brazilian stuff like Villa Lobos, who's got a lot of amazing stuff. Wow. But then after about a year of studying it kind of more traditionally, I decided I wanted to kind of just make my own path. I didn't want to like study it strictly, and I admire people that do that because it's a really difficult instrument to master.
Yeah.
But for me, it was more about like learning the technique and discovering the sound. But then, you know, the reason I got into music was just because I love records. And so to me, like making my own record would be the coolest thing ever. So, you know, like I think that kind of led me in that way. So in terms of like traditional classical guitarists, like there's one, he's more recent, but his name's Dusan Bogdanovic. And he's got some crazy, like almost like prog, like fusion, like classical, like technical polyrhythmic stuff that's really great.
Wow.
So I remember learning one of his pieces, and that kind of set me off. But but really like for me, the big turning point was when I got my first acoustic guitar, and then I started learning some like power metal ballads, like some Blind Guardian and like some Camelot. Nice. Yeah, some Camelot, and then but yeah, obviously like I have to talk about Opeth, because like Opeth was the real kind of gateway for me, like because Michael Okerfeldt's technique was, he sort of like leveled it up in a way that I don't think many people have even caught up to in terms of like acoustic technique in a metal lens. You know, like really fully fledged kind of finger style, kind of like really intricate things. And once I started learning Opeth stuff, that sort of like set me off in that's kind of like the blueprint of a lot of what I've done.
Well, it seems like you're still pushing the boundaries too. You're trying new things with the cello and Musk Ox, and I don't know, you're still inspired by the acoustic instrument, it seems. Yeah,
it's weird. I think, you know, that's music. Like you kind of find a thing that works for you, right? Like I'm sure Jason, like you found the bass and you're like, this is like, it's like to me, music is like a big house with like an infinite amount of doors, and like it's like finding the one with your name on it, you know, like, and that might be just being producing beats, or like being a singer, or like being a engineer, like, because in my family, like my older brother, he's a hip hop producer and a DJ, and then my younger brother runs a recording studio. So we all grew up playing violin together, and we all sort of like branched off and then found our own paths within it. Like I went into more like composing and like producing records, and you know, like, and then my little brother, he's just like a genius when it comes to like mixing and engineering and producing, and he's played in bands, but you know, he was never like drawn to like, oh, I need to make my own thing. You know, he's like a master of bringing other people's visions to life, and he's worked on like most of my records as well. Like, but that is to say, like for me, when I first got my guitar, I was playing electric, and you know, it's like I was like, I love metal. I got an electric guitar, and I was like, I can't play metal. You know, like, it's so difficult. Like, what am I supposed to do here? You know, and actually, this kind of ties back to the acoustic thing. But one of the first riffs that I ever learned was "Children of the Damned" by Iron Maiden.
Nice.
Just the intro, which is an acoustic intro.
Yeah.
And so for the first 2 years of guitar, I was kind of like, I don't really like know what I'm doing with it. And then when I got my first acoustic and started finger picking, something just clicked. Wow. It's like my brain, the way, like, I don't know, physically and mentally, like my brain just like, it's just like, oh, this works for me, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I just kind of hit the ground running and just kind of kept going with that. And I'm still like, even though it's been as long as it's been, like, and all the records I've made, I'm still just like, like, I'm just starting. Like, I feel like I still haven't like really, you know, but I guess we all feel like that. There's always more to do.
If you felt any other way, then you'd get complacent. And why keep doing it if you're at 100%, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I'm at like 10% is my sweet spot, where I'm like, can barely fumble my way through anything. So I'm always striving to be better. Good.
Yeah. And that's actually a quote that I heard that I really liked, which was a Danny Elfman quote, where he was being interviewed on it was like the Canadian public radio, and the interviewer was like, "Oh, you're so great. Do you ever think about all the influence that you've had on all these people?" And then Danny Elfman was like, he's like, "I don't like to think of myself as great at anything. I'm just trying all the time."
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear about like lots of musicians and people, the artists, I guess, they don't really look at the past and what they've done. They're just pushing forward all the time.
Yeah.
Let's not to interrupt you, Nathanael. I want to shift gears a little bit though and talk about Dolvin, because this is obviously plays into the subject greatly.
For sure.
But I think the creation of Dolvin and kind of like how that came to be, not only is appropriate, but also interesting. And I think unique. I mean, I don't know how people come to this, you know, doing like acoustic music, but I think the story of how you started Dolvin is pretty singular. So if you wouldn't mind, you want to.
Well, what's your story? Is it going to be different than mine?
I mean, maybe it was a while ago. How about I start it off and you can interject?
All right.
But
what if you're wrong completely?
Then correct me.
I will.
Or write to me later.
Yeah, I'm going to write an email to you,
and then I can do it in the corrections in the next episode. No, but you wrote the first Dolvin record. You wrote on acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
In Germany.
That's right.
You're living in Germany at the time.
And I had no access to.
Right. And you wrote it on the acoustic guitar purely because that's all you had with you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thinking, I'll metalize this at some point.
You're going to make a doom metal record.
Yeah, exactly.
Like not a typical doom metal, but an electric guitar-based doom metal record.
Yeah.
Come back to the States.
Yeah.
We're talking it over, and you're like, hey, I want to make this record. I'm like, dude, I'd love to help you. I'll play bass. Let me find you a drummer. We got Tim Call from Mournful Congregation.
Yeah, amazing.
We got, we were just like, we're working on the record together. And then I think we just kind of like decided like, hey, because you were so used to hearing the songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Acoustic. I think I was like, maybe these are meant to be acoustic, but let's still keep the drums. Let's still keep the bass, you know?
That's right. That was it, basically. I think it was sounding as heavy as it would have if I distorted that guitar.
Right.
You know?
So very much like what Nathanael was talking about with Battery. Like you're playing these riffs that you actually intended to be electric.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love that.
And there's the only electric guitar on those records are Don solos, right?
That's right. Just that first song where Don solos, yeah.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, but everything else is you on acoustic. It's an electric bass, you know, but still acoustic guitars.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe we'll do a Bob Dylan kind of thing where we'll put the electric album out at some point.
That's right.
You know,
yeah,
to gain some publicity.
That'd be cool. But I do think that's kind of unique. I think. I mean,
I enjoy writing on the acoustic. I think it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable.
It's very vulnerable.
It's like you cannot buck up. You know,
right?
You have to, it's really hard to get everything.
That's what's so great about it.
But I like that part.
Yeah, it's very vulnerable. It's really delicate. You can't hide behind distortion.
No,
usually can't hide behind speed.
That's right. And lyrically, I was trying to kind of put myself out there.
Well, you're being very vulnerable.
That's
too.
right. And I think the acoustic guitar
lends to it completely.
Yeah.
But I just think the way that came about, where your intent was this, but then you're kind of like, wait, like
just use what you have, you know. Like
I already did this way. Why would I change it now?
I still kind of live a lot of my musical life that way. It's like I have a certain amount of gear. I'm going to use it. Like I'm not going to search for the best gear. I'm not going to get. Right. It's like so whatever I have, we can write an album with like some spoons if that's all you had.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Nathanael, are you familiar with Dolvin?
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, and also I think it's interesting too is sometimes like the acoustic, it doesn't take as much sonic real estate as the electric, so it actually can make things sound bigger because now there's more space for the bass and the drums, and sometimes it actually can just make things sound bigger, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Than piles of distortion, which sort of like
compresses everything, and
yeah,
fighting for space. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Before I move on, Nathanael, you gave Nick and I a song to listen to.
I did.
I would like to play that now. Why did you pick this song?
So I racked my brain, but this song, do I say what it is before you play it? Or?
Yep.
Yeah. So I picked the song Benighted by Opeth from their fourth record, Still Life. And this song, it kind of harkens to what I said before. There's a lot of songs that I made lists of like, oh, this has a great little intro, or like, oh, this one's a little interlude. But this one for me is special for many reasons. It's one that when I learned early on, it sort of like really pushed my technique and it helped me kind of understand songwriting. And it really shows, and I feel like Opeth haven't really done another song like this since, in terms of just like the finger style technique that he has, just the riffs and being able to sing over that and everything. It's just a very intricate song. You know, he's not just kind of plucking individual notes and leaving a lot of space. Like he's really exploring the guitar and exploring the technique. This record also, to me, I think a lot of Opeth heads kind of like revere this record. This was the first record that they did with the kind of like classic lineup, with Peter Lindgren and Martin Lopez and Martin Mendez. And one of like the kind of secrets to Opeth that people don't always talk about is that like it was kind of like this Swedish like death metal head who loved prog, but with like a South American rhythm section. Nice. That was kind of like almost like a secret kind of piece to the equation. And this was the first record where they all played together. And just there's something really kind of singular about this song. I can't think of another example of a piece that's this kind of bare, but this sort of like intricate in the acoustic realms of metal. This one is a special one, I think.
Awesome. Let's listen to it. Here we go.
So far away from our weak and crumbling lives. Come into this night when days are done. Lost and astray, it must vanished from your eyes. It came and distorted your sight. Saw you benighted by your pride. Come into this night, you're plight alone. Carry your weight, you are flawed as all of us. Come into this night, your only home. It's never too late to repent, suffer the came and distorted your sight. Saw you benighted by your pride.
That was beautiful.
Amazing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
That was great. I've heard that song before, but it's been many, many, many years.
You have some Opeth opinions, which I don't agree with. Opeth are great.
Actually, okay, let me explain the situation.
Okay.
I don't really have Opeth opinions.
Okay. Well.
It's one of those things that's been blown out of proportion. And
by who? What do you mean?
By me.
Oh, okay.
No, just by everybody. I mean, I like to play it up a little bit, but I love the first few Opeth records.
Morning Rise is fucking...
Yeah, I stopped following them after Blackwater Park, I want to say. Is that the fifth one, Nathaniel?
Yeah, that came after Still Life.
Yep.
Nice.
So I stopped following them after Blackwater. No, I love, Orchid and Morning Rise. I love moments of Still Life and Blackwater. It just became a thing where it was like this competition, not competition. People were just always going like, Agaloc's so influenced by Opeth. Yeah. And in fact, like, it wasn't at all. And then it just became like this thing. And Mikhail said a couple shitty things about Agaloc, and John's been very vocal about not liking Agaloc at all, even though Don and I really do to a certain point. So I just like to play it up a little bit.
Nice.
It's all in good fun. I really do I love the first two. Like a lot the second two. After that, I just fell off.
Yeah, I kind of did as well.
But yeah, when Morning Rise and Orchid, when those were first out, I listened to them to death.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, so much now when I try to revisit it, I have a hard time listening to it because I've just heard them so many times.
I was going to play, I didn't know he was going to play an Opeth, but To Bid You Farewell off of Morning Rise.
Yep.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, I was going to, that was on the list, To Bid You Farewell, but that one has heavy parts.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I wanted to avoid any electric stuff. Another little caveat with Benighted that's interesting is I credit Opeth for getting me into 70s prog. They were kind of my gateway because he was really influenced by 70s prog, which I didn't really know much about when I was a teenager. And so Benighted, actually, the opening riff references a riff from the band Camel,
Nice.
Okay.
which is a British prog band. And from the first record, it's a song called Never Let Go. And so I remember he's talked a lot about how much he likes Camel. And so I got into the early Camel stuff, which is amazing. And so this song kind of, for me at least, like learning it as actually, you know what I did when I remember when I was in university in residence, I had just like a little setup and I found a tab for this song and I recorded it. Like I did my own like version of it, like part by part, just to kind of figure out like, how did he do this, and
That's cool.
Yeah. And then, and so, and this also kind of led me into like 70s prog. So I credit Opeth with a lot of that as well. And yeah, there's just something about, that song itself. It's because what's funny is when I first heard Opeth, it was on this campus radio station and they played a song from Still Life that had no death vocals. It was just more like a clean song. And then I went to HMV and it was like progressive death metal masterpiece. And I was like, this isn't metal. I heard this, but I only knew one song from it. And I remember just listening to Still Life and this was when I was still like into power metal and I wasn't really into harsh vocals. And I remember listening to it and it was kind of dissonant and weird, but I liked the acoustic parts. And I was like, I don't know if I like this, but I just kept listening to it. And then it sort of just like got under my skin. And so that song in particular is because also, it's not like layers of acoustic and layers of things. Like it's literally just like pretty much one acoustic guitar, maybe double tracked.
Yeah. And
then there's like the little blues solo. But it really stands on its own, like just how full and intricate it is. And I think that, I think that that's something that a lot of metal bands haven't really caught up with in terms of like the fingerstyle technique. And to me, that just, once I heard that, I was like, how does he do this? What is this? And I wanted to learn this. And I always thought I would learn acoustic as my foundation to metal, but I ended up just like going full in. And I have done metal stuff with the Night Watch and incorporated acoustic stuff, but there's something for me also in the acoustic fingerstyle. I feel like, I don't know, I found kind of my own identity with that. Mm-hmm. And people will say like, oh, I heard a thing and it sounds like you. And to me, that's a great compliment. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, even if it's just a couple notes, like it's neat that I've sort of like carved out my own kind of little world in guitar music, even if it's just small, It was never my intention, but it's just kind of, I've followed this thread and then it's just kind of keeps going,
I wanted to ask you about technique with acoustic music, because you're talking about Michael Ackerfeld and his fingerstyle and all that. We're also talking about Gewaltsanger, which is very rudimentary technique-wise. In your opinion, does the lack of technique, does that sometimes bum you out, or does that sometimes like add to the atmosphere, or like how does that affect you?
Yeah, and actually, like I think Gewaltsanger is actually not a great example to talk about back technique, because some of that stuff is actually like, it seems simple on the surface, but like the opening song, like I've learned that song and like it's actually a bit tricky. But it's very interesting you mentioned that, because this is kind of like the secret of acoustic music, is like a slowly plucked acoustic guitar always sounds good. It's like, it almost feels like you're cheating. You're like, am I allowed to do this? Like, why? It's so, but it's like, that's the beauty of it. So for me, that's something that I think that like, there is something sort of pure. And like, even if that's kind of why I like the acoustic interludes, because a lot of these guys weren't necessarily acoustic players.
That's right.
But like, there is something kind of, I don't know, like to me, like if acoustic doesn't have to be like shredded, it can just be like, you don't need crazy technique to sound good on an acoustic. Like,
it's almost like sometimes they came up with these interludes, like alone in the middle of the night, drunk or something.
Yeah,
you can kind of tell.
It's just there's a huge difference between like what we listen to and like a Richard Brunel on Blessed of the Sick, and like I use Gewaltsanger as an example, because I feel like a lot of it to me sounds like a lot of it's double tracked to make it sound like it's one player.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but it definitely sounds like, oh, here's...
They definitely put melodies over top of it and stuff. Like, it's a bit more fully orchestrated.
Yeah. But I think you know what I'm getting at. Like, it's not... They're not players like Richard Brunel or like Michael Ackerfeld.
Yeah. But actually, this is actually a good time to mention, like, Håvard, the guitarist from Feldsanger, like, he released a new acoustic album.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago. That's phenomenal. Like, and it's incredible, and I highly recommend anyone. Yeah, maybe we could throw it in the playlist, but it's just under his own name, Håvard, and it's really amazing. I actually met him in Norway last year, which was like kind of a dream. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But like you said, and I think even like the nature folk thing, that whole scene, like a lot of it, that's actually what drew me to it. Was I was learning acoustic guitar and I couldn't play that well, and then I heard Feldsanger, and it's not to say like they didn't play well, but I heard these things. I was like, I think I understand this. I think I can do this. I think it's what kind of drew people to the Ramones. It's like you hear that and you're like,
I was just going to say Ramones.
That. And then it sort of like births a whole generation of guitar players, which to me, I think that there's something to that where you can, rather than being like, I could never do that, what's the point? Like, you know, and I love music that is like that makes me feel like I can't play for shit. That's fun, you know, because it's like, I like CD, but there's also something about like, oh, like I think I can do that, especially when you're learning, you know, which is kind of what I did with Old Growth. Like, I wanted to release a book of guitar music so people could like, at least, I think it's like a little more difficult than beginner, but you could at least like learn some of it, you know, or try it out and see if like, if you like that kind of thing, you know.
Was that a challenge for you to put together? I imagine that was probably a lot of work for you.
It's funny because for as like straightforward of an album as it is, it took a really long time for it to all come together. Like I published it with this guy in Norway, Martin Romberg, who's like a real classical composer, like composes for orchestras and everything. And he actually, I discovered him. He has a thing called Raven Music Publishing, and he published a score for Feldsanger.
Oh, nice.
And so that's how I kind of discovered that. And then I was like, I listened to it. I was like, and I was always thinking about this sort of like minimalist solo, almost like a book of dark folk etudes, so to speak. And so I reached out to him and I said, okay, you kind of understand this. Maybe you'd want to publish this. And so we worked on it it took a really, really long time, but but you know, it all kind of came together. So
yeah, it's cool you did that.
Yeah. I think it's really important to have like to tab things out, and there's something I've talked to you about, Jason, is like getting some official Megalock tabs done, because
I'd love to do that.
I think people would really appreciate that.
Yeah,
they would.
Yeah, no, I would appreciate it too, because sometimes it's like, oh shit,
get your own song.
Yeah, we're gonna play this song. We haven't played it in 5 years, and I'll look it up on YouTube and I'll see some kid like, oh, this is how you do Falling Snow, and I'm like, actually, that's wrong. But like,
don't learn from that.
Oh, okay, that reminds me. Yes, okay, yeah, got it now. I wanted to bring up something else too. When Nick and I were assembling this playlist, something interesting happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, clean tone guitar and acoustic guitar are two different things.
Yeah.
But I think for the effect, sometimes it's not so different. How do you feel, Nathanael, about clean tone parts? And would you put that in like the same category? Like for...
It's definitely like, they're definitely related. I mean?
Yeah.
But I think when I was looking at my list, I was like, doesn't count. Like there's certain songs I was like, oh, the intro to Hallowed Be Thy Name. I was like, no, clean guitar, no, it doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. I was even like, I was having a hard time differentiating in it sometimes. Like I associated a lot of that with what I thought in my head was acoustic, but actually wasn't.
It's like, imagine the Mantle when all the acoustic guitars were clean guitars. It's like it wouldn't be the same, you know?
No. But I think it's easy to, if you're not like analyzing it, to just be like, oh, that's not a distorted guitar. And sometimes it is kind of. Sometimes it is kind of hard to identify depending on how it's played and how it's tracked.
Totally.
There was something, Nick, that you put on the playlist, and I can't remember what it was, but I was listening to it in the car, and I'm like, I think that's acoustic, but it was so washed in reverb and stuff that I was like, I'm not really sure.
Damn it.
Sometimes tracking like a steel string with a clean guitar underneath it.
Yeah.
With like a lot of reverb, you get that immediacy of the steel string, but then like you get this kind of wideness of the like delayed clean or the reverb.
Yeah, so Apedaile would do all sorts of shit like that. Like,
but to me, they're both great and they both have their place. Like again with Apedaile, like there's certain parts where it's like had you done that with an acoustic guitar, it wouldn't have been the same. Like you needed that kind of delay because that just has a different flavor.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
I think of sound in terms of like food, right? And so like, but yeah, for me at least, when I was thinking about these kinds of things, I wasn't thinking clean guitar. I was thinking like acoustic steel or nylon string stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few that comes to mind that I haven't kind of mentioned would be like, one of the big ones for me was Acoustic Medley by In Flames. This was off of
I don't know that one.
the Jester Race.
Nice.
That one's a cool example because it's 3 different riffs from their metal songs put into like this acoustic medley, I guess.
That's cool.
That one was also one that I ended up like covering, like tracking on my own when I was learning, just to kind of figure out how it worked, sort of like reverse engineering it in a way. And then At the Gates, Into the Dead Sky from Slaughter of the Soul.
Yep.
Nice. Yep.
That one has some electric near the end, but and then the one that I was balancing between that, I ended up going with Benighted, but like Death Voice of the Soul to me is one of the
I think I was going to play that probably.
that one's already on the list here.
Yeah,
But
it's so amazing. Jesus.
Yeah.
But that's the juxtaposition between the the soulful electric over the top of that his riffs. So beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to bring up something else because I think that we totally overlooked one very important record. It was a really important record to me when I was 10,
Okay.
12.
Bob Seger?
No.
Night Moves?
And this is actually the first record that I know of that's all acoustic from, I wouldn't necessarily call them metal, but in the day, people called them metal.
Huh.
5-Man Acoustical Jam by Tesla.
Oh, Tesla. That's right. They put out that whole album.
Yeah.
That's a full. I'm not familiar. That's a full record.
It's a full record. Record of metal, or they're like acoustic versions of their. I mean, they're not metal, but
right.
in the 80s, people might have called them metal. Maybe
Signs was on that. That was
Signs.
the hit.
They did some cover.
Yeah, that
was a cover too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an entire record of acoustic music when they weren't known for acoustic music.
Yeah.
That was. Let's see. I was looking it up. That was done.
Good one.
Oh shit! 90? Really? I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, that was popular.
Okay, well, anyway, 1990?
Well, what about More Than Words, dude? Extreme.
Extreme.
That was crazy popular.
Yeah. I think also Nothing Else Matters by Metallica.
Yeah,
that was sort of.
Yeah.
Sure.
But this was like an entire record of acoustic music.
Back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
God, that shocks me. It's 90. If I had to guess, I would have said like 85 or something. But now I'm kind of.
That's one that you were listening to as a kid?
Now you were 15, and that puts you.
I was 15 then. I was also listening to 1990. I was listening to death metal too. What? That can't be right. What? All right. I mean, it must be right. It's the internet.
It's right.
It's got to be right. Yeah. I haven't listened to that in forever, but I was really into that record for some reason.
Nice.
Yeah, 1990, using acoustic guitars instead of the electric guitars for which hard rock, heavy metal bands, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
We're well known for, exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend you check it out, Nathanael. You don't need to.
You wouldn't?
No, don't worry about it.
You might change your whole career your career
Tesla
trajectory might change.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't need to check it out. Nick Wusz, did you have an acoustic song that you wanted to play?
For sure. I got lots. I kind of wanted to kind of just the little tidbits. Maybe we could play a couple of them.
Yeah,
but
we can do little snippets.
That Unleashed one.
That's
the greatest opening to like a death metal album, I think. So.
This is great because, in my opinion, this is kind of an example. Like, again, I'm not trying to shit talk Kveldsanger. I'm just saying there's a difference between that and like A Desolate Way is Richard Brunel.
Yeah.
This is, for me, more on the Kveldsanger. Like,
that's like a metal guitarist who's just twiddling around.
Yeah, but it's still really good. It's still really effective.
Yeah.
Really catchy. Nathanael, are you familiar with this record? Where No Life Dwells?
Where No Life Dwells.
No, I'm not.
By Unleashed? Okay. You should check this out. Throw away that Tesla CD that you just ordered, and Where No Life Dwells.
It's only 1 minute
Unleashed.
long, just the very beginning of it. But.
Yeah. Here we go.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
So cool.
It's a great record. Great record.
I love that. Obviously, I love Desperate Cry.
Of course.
And I saw that you put D on there. That's pretty incredible.
Yep.
Randy Rhoads.
Yep. Just classic Randy Rhoads Aussie song.
I think that was kind of odd. You know, he was trained, obviously, in some realm beyond just hard rock.
Yeah.
And he, for whatever reason, it's like anesthesia pulling teeth or something. They decided to put that on the album.
Yeah.
They didn't need to.
No, they didn't need to.
And it's really cool they did because it's incredible. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, anesthesia that's a weird.
Yeah, it doesn't
that's
fit
kind of
the
a
whole
weird
album.
move.
You know?
You know? I mean, it's an amazing track. Obviously,
of course.
But it was kind of a weird move.
Yeah.
Like,
was this guy so good at bass that we're just gonna put his solo thing on here?
I mean,
you know?
he is
obviously,
but also like it's kind of a strange move to do.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
let's just put a bass solo.
And I don't know. I associate that with D a little bit. I think maybe it's a little different.
That's true. Yeah. Did you have another little snippet you wanted to
play?
Put
on Desperate Cry, just the very beginning.
Okay. Desperate Cry by a little band called Sepultura.
Yep. I wish they put the whole album out like the very beginning of this song. You know, that's always my dream. Was to hear the whole album and stuff. That's enough. Yeah, I mean, it's just that. I mean, it's so, really effective.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing I was saying. Like, it's just some metal dude that's but it evokes so much.
Well, what about To Live to Die? That wasn't just some metal dude. I mean, that's an impressive riff. I mean, Kirk Hammett maybe had been
right
if he wrote it. I'm not sure. It could have been Hetfield, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
Pretty amazing. The intro to Live Is to Die.
Yeah.
The intro and the outro. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Let's listen.
Yeah,
real quick. Yeah, such a great little snippet.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, Nathanael, I wanted to actually, that brings me to my next point perfectly. I wanted to talk about acoustic music that is simply purely acoustic guitars versus like what we just heard, like with some drums in the background, or like I'm sure you're familiar with Nine Walton, bands like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
they use double bass drums a lot of times too.
Double
kick on one of the songs.
Yep. Nine Walton is one of my absolute favorites of any kind of like acoustic music. The way that they incorporate all that is great. This might be a weird question, but do you have like a preference, or is there like a different? Does it have a different effect for you when there's like a full band orchestration with drums or strings or just like pure acoustic guitars?
No, I'm into it all. Like Neun Welten, they do some drums, which is cool. Even on the Imperium acoustic ones, they have some drums and stuff, even some synths. Tenhi does a lot of mostly drums and like kind of almost like doomy, like kind of grooves and stuff. I'm always just curious, like where people can take it. It's almost like I feel like acoustic. When you go into an acoustic thing, it's almost like it almost like levels the playing field in a way, right? Because you're really just relying on the sound of the guitar, right? There's not like you can't have too much fancy other things. It's really like what can you do with this instrument and what kind of sounds can you add to it? But from like the human to the instrument, I think that's the best way I can kind of explain it. Like it does kind of level it because it's like, okay, well, here's an acoustic, like, there isn't like a barrier to entry. It's not like, oh, well, that guy has this crazy amp and this crazy pedal board. It's like, no, just here's the acoustic. Like, what can you do with it? You know?
Right.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of something that's interesting to me. It does kind of like narrow it down. And so, you know, that for me, it's been more like just exploring, like, what can I do just by myself, and just how full can I make it? Almost more just like an experiment. Like it's like a question, like a scientist, like what can I do with this? You know what I mean? How far can I push this? Right. And or how, it's almost like when I started, it was very minimal because that's how as good as I could play. And then I wanted to push my playing. And now I'm almost back to the beginning where I'm like, how minimal can I play?
Exactly.
Like I almost want to do a record where it's just like, just slow strums for like an hour or something. Like, yeah, like you mentioned Andre 3000. Like I kind of want to do like a dark folk Andre 3000, like, you know, New Blue Sun, like Old Black Moon, or I don't know, whatever.
Old Black Moon, yeah.
But no, I'm cool with like I'm curious. What's funny too, because I do a lot of solo music, but I don't listen to a lot of solo guitarists. Like it's not a style of music that I'm that drawn to.
Interesting.
But it's something that I do a lot of.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I think that's the case for some people. Like maybe you just work on something so hard, you're not really as like into like.
Yeah.
You're kind of burnt out on it by the time you're done your own thing.
Yeah, I don't listen to very much nature worshiping black metal, noise, ambient, or electronic music. So.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I make.
Yeah. It keeps it kind of fresh.
Yeah. I
also wanted to shout out this, because the reason I got to hang out with you guys in at Prophecy Fest was because I was playing with this Dutch dark folk project called Thurnin.
Yeah, Thurnin, that's great stuff.
Yeah. So Thurnin is amazing and what's funny is like talking to him, he didn't grow up on like these dark folk records. He was a metal guy that went into acoustic music and then later found out all the stuff that people are referencing, like, oh, you must love this.
Yeah.
But he got in touch with me because he was influenced by Musk Ox, and so that's kind of how we got connected. But anyways, his stuff is amazing, and it was really awesome to be able to like learn his music and just kind of play, because I think he's just an amazing songwriter. And you know, a lot of this kind of folk stuff is again, I think it's kind of like, I think that's sort of the blessing and the curse of folk music. It's kind of like what I was saying, there's low barrier to entry. Anybody can kind of, it's not that difficult, but then that's what makes it hard to like stand out.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, because minimalist folk, it is accessible and it is easy to make, but then that also makes it difficult to make it really good. And so I've heard a lot of stuff over the years, but then when I heard Thurnin, I was like, oh, like this is actually like, he actually writes really interesting songs and really great riffs, and the melodies are amazing. And, you know, and I think, but also maybe that's because he didn't grow up with that music. He just kind of like went into it sort of with a clean slate.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd recommend him for people as well.
Did you end up playing with him or just, opening for him or?
No, I did. We did the set at Prophecy Fest together. Like
cool.
We did 40 minutes. I learned his songs, and, you know, his records are layered with a lot of different acoustics, and we did kind of like a stripped down, just duo acoustic thing. And
nice.
We did Prophecy Fest, and then we did 2 other shows.
That's awesome.
And that was a great experience. And then after I already was planning on going to Prophecy Fest, he emails me and is like, Egelok's playing Prophecy Fest, and I was like, oh my god, you know? So it was just kind of like a beautiful influence of things.
Yeah, that was a great time. That was a great festival. It was great to see you there. I missed your set, unfortunately, but
well, no, you guys were on you guys were in and out.
Yeah, we were in and out, and it was a high pressure situation. We had to focus.
No, you guys pulled it off. No, again, like I've seen you guys. I was on the road with you guys. I've seen you guys many times, and like you didn't miss a step. Like if anything, it was like even, you know, it wasn't like, oh, Apedaile are back on stage because, you know, I guess they want to. It was like, I don't know, knowing you guys and knowing the history and knowing everything that went into that, like it was amazing. It was powerful. And I know that, like, it's like you were saying, the front row was all tears, right?
Yeah, that was cool. I love seeing people cry. That's awesome. Well, Nathanael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, man.
Talk about all the acoustic music. We have one little subtopic that I think you might be useful for as well, if you can stick around for another 5 minutes or so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
We're going to just delve into Thanksgiving music real quick. What is your favorite Thanksgiving song that you like grew up listening to?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
That's tough. I'm glad you didn't ask me first.
Canadian Thanksgiving is a month earlier than you guys.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving in October, so.
Oh. No, I mean, Thanksgiving, there's no such thing as Thanksgiving music.
Didn't Adam Sandler do like a turkey song or something
really?
funny?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. There's Halloween music. There's Christmas music.
Yeah, but there's no
Thanksgiving music?
Maybe we should be grateful for that.
What about November?
should.
Maybe November's
Or maybe-
Doom.
November's Doom. November's
Yeah,
Doom.
yeah.
That's it.
Maybe it's just an untapped market. Maybe we need to pioneer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think you should start it up. Just do a Thanksgiving record.
That simple
Thanksgiving,
strumming thing you were talking about, you could just make that your turkey album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It pairs great with the turkey and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, well, Nathanael, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Giving your insight
Yeah,
into
really
all of
appreciate
this.
Hopefully it was insightful. I kind of just rambled and.
Oh no, very insightful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. You're way more embedded in the scene
Yes.
than I am,
Yep.
and more than Nick is
Yep,
as well.
for sure.
So it's good to get your perspective. Yeah, so it's a fascinating subject, and it's fascinating that it's kind of, I wouldn't say like popular, but it's way more popular than it used to be.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of us talking about horror and its influences in metal. Acoustic and metal go hand in hand as well.
Yeah.
And they have from a long time, and almost ubiquitous. Almost, it's
Right.
not a surprise when you hear acoustic and metal songs.
No, but it doesn't, like, on the surface, it doesn't seem like an obvious choice.
Right, exactly, yeah. That's
But
why I
then
liked it. You were talking about the emotional part of it and stuff, and the sadness and the anger. That's really beautiful. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But then if you go back to like, blues and like African American music and like pre-electric guitar, right? Like these guys were singing like dark,
Yeah,
dark
that's
music.
true. That's very true.
Acoustic music, right? And that's kind of like the genesis for like everything that came after.
That's right. Well put.
That's very true. All right, Nathanael, thank you so much. If anybody is interested in Nathanael's work, on our I Hate Music playlist, we put a song from Musk Ox on there. We put a song from what did we put on there?
Old Growth was on there? Or?
Yep, we put a song from the Old Growth record that he did. Also, he did the acoustic interludes for the Serpent in the Sphere Agalloch record. There's one of those on there. One of the newer things that he did that I also wanted to talk about just briefly is his rendition of In the Shadow of Our Pale Companion by Agalloch.
Oh, yeah. I would like to speak to that if we have time.
Yes, we do.
Please, man.
That's also on the playlist. It's
incredible.
It's
incredible.
Agalloch's, I want to say, our second longest song, and he expanded it to a whopping almost 20 minutes.
Amazing.
It's an amazing rendition, and I had the pleasure of performing this rendition with him live in New Hampshire last summer, and that was super great. That was a really good time, and I felt like that really turned out actually way better than I thought it could have.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting about that song, it was somebody on Facebook kind of just offhanded was like, "Oh, you should do like an acoustic version of a song from The Mantle." And like, I'd played this song with you guys, and so I sort of knew the intro, and I was like, okay, where can we go with this? And then at no point was I like, I'm going to do this. It was literally like, oh, I'm going to mess around and see. And then it just kind of like kept unfolding, and it kept working so well. And then I remember I at the end, the last thing I did was John's solo, because I just thought like, there's no way I can do that. Like I'll just kind of like improvise and sort of as a cop out. And then I realized like, I can't do that. People will like, you have to do it justice. And so what's interesting as I was learning that song is because, I would say it's arguably your most iconic song. And
I think it is. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's also like one of your longest, and also like it's so layered. But what's interesting as I was kind of learning it on acoustic was just kind of like, it's like I boiled it down to the essence, you know what I mean? Like, and at its very core, it's like an element that can't be cracked, it's like, it's so strong, right? Even when it was just like the bass line and the melody and the rhythm, like when that was all that I had, and even just stripped versions of that, like as long as those were there, it was so powerful. And what's interesting as I was listening back to it was the song itself is a very lonely song, right? It's like, and that's how I discovered it myself, was as a teenager, kind of just like walking through Halifax, Nova Scotia on a very gray day. Like it's this kind of meandering journey, like a very solitary meandering journey. And so it worked beautifully for the solo guitar, because it's such a lonely piece. But when you strip it down to just the notes, like it sort of like brought out that like loneliness that is kind of like there, that maybe is like gets kind of washed, it's sort of like this kind of dreamy loneliness. But then when I brought it back, it was like, I realized like, whoa, like it worked so beautifully. Like just because the song itself, once you strip it down, you realize like that's the beauty of it. And that's the genius of it, is that even when you get rid of everything, it's undeniable, but then like making it just completely solo to me was just brought out that like lonely meandering feeling in a way that like, that, I don't know, just kind of surprised me. Right. Cause it was sort of like a discovery as I was doing it. And I didn't like expect it to end up being like whatever, like 6 minutes longer than the original.
Yeah, it's a bit longer. We played a little bit slower, I feel like, for the most part.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a really interesting night in New Hampshire when we performed it together, because we had no idea it was, what was it? It was the 20th anniversary of the Mantle that day.
Yeah, the day of, yeah.
Wow.
And it wasn't planned that way. We had no idea. I woke up that morning and Nathanael and everybody else and I were staying at this Airbnb out in the country somewhere in New Hampshire, and I woke up to all these messages like "Happy Birthday to the Mantle" and stuff. I had no idea. So then, before we played, Nathanael, said something about the anniversary, blah blah, Agalock, blah blah, and at that point in time, we were kind of talking about maybe possibly considering getting back together, doing a couple shows or whatever. But the response from the crowd was pretty crazy that night, just from our little rendition of this. And it very much solidified in my mind, like, this could work. Like, people would be into this if we were to play shows, you know.
Yeah.
It was a remarkable night. It was really great.
Yeah.
And I love your version. So yeah, if people want to check it out, it is on the I Hate Music Spotify playlist. So please check it out. And I assume
you never played a song.
Say again?
Did you play a song?
No, I didn't. Do you want me to play a song?
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, I can play a song. I thought you were asking if I ever played
Sorry.
Shadow. I'm like,
No,
yeah,
I kind of just interjected because that just came to me.
No.
Yeah,
oh man, I had so many choices. It was so hard.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, this is going to piss you guys off, but I really like this song a lot. Here we go.
Is it Tesla?
No, it's not Tesla.
It's off that Tesla album. It's Extreme More Than Words.
No,
It's gotta be.
it's actually one of the first songs I thought of, and I don't know why, but I just love it so much. Okay, this is The Road Behind by Guar.
Nice.
was gone. Baby, can't you hear me calling? Like a sad whale song. Like a sad whale song. Sad whale, baby.
Sad whale, baby. That's such a great fucking song.
Good shit, dude.
Oh, yeah. Did you love it, Nathaniel?
I haven't heard it yet.
Damn it. Okay. Well, Nathaniel, thanks again.
Dude,
Hey,
thank you so much.
This is, yeah. This is awesome. It's nice to meet you, Nick.
Yeah, you too, man.
We should do this
Pleasure.
again with some other topic. I don't know what it would be, but
I need to come out to Portland, and do it be in there in the studio.
I would love to. We also talked about doing a little tour together at some point too.
Yeah,
Little
let's do it.
Moonbladder Nathaniel action on the
That'd
West
be
Coast or
amazing.
something.
Damn.
Yeah. Yep, we should do that at some point. Again, thank you so much. Keep in touch, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Have a great time in Denver.
Thank you. I will. I'll talk to you after that.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
What a gentleman, right?
What a guy.
Guy's amazing.
Pleasure, man. I loved how he kind of added the emotional element to it and talked about on the deeper level
Yeah.
of why that's attractive. You know?
Yeah. No, it was great. It was great.
Important.
Yeah, I thought he would. Well, I mean, he suggested it, but I also thought, like, what a perfect person
Oh,
to
God,
like
yeah.
talk
He's-
about that stuff with.
Yeah. He knows it in and out, and he's evidently he's got really large hands. I think you've told me that before.
I mean, it's like
He
yeah.
must, man, the way he plays guitar.
Yeah, he's like he can reach all the nooks and the
Yeah,
crannies,
exactly.
and yeah, exactly. Well, we've got a couple more segments left.
Cool.
You ready for this shit?
Yeah, man, that was great. What was the point in bringing up the Thanksgiving songs?
Just because we did the Halloween songs, and I'm like,
Do you have any?
I mean, no.
No, I don't think there is such a thing.
I mean, there's got to be like silly, stupid things, like you brought up, like Adam Sandler or something.
Yeah, right.
But
Guar may have done one.
It might have, but there's no like traditional Thanksgiving songs that I know of.
No, I don't think so. Not even in like pop culture.
I don't think so.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
There's no Thanksgiving movies.
I think it'd just be too much for our psyche to handle. You know, we get the Halloween, we get the Christmas. It's just too much. So
Too
we
much.
Put something in the middle
Yeah.
there, you know. So maybe that's the reason.
Well, having said all that, if anybody knows of any Thanksgiving songs,
Only metal, though. If you bring us Thanksgiving pop song by Britney Spears or something, we're not playing it.
no, we're not.
And I don't
No.
want to hear about it.
Okay. Yeah, only metal
Only
Thanksgiving
metal.
songs.
There you go.
But it does bring up an interesting point because Nathaniel said like Canadian Thanksgiving is last
Yeah,
month.
it's in
So
October.
maybe there's cool Thanksgiving songs for other places. I don't think so, though. It seems weird. I don't know.
Thanksgiving's only, I guess, probably in Canada and America, but
Probably. But you know what I mean? Like something similar, maybe? I don't know.
like in Australia, like what do they have, you know?
Wallaby Day or something.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know.
Wagga Wagga Day.
Chuzwazzer. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Well, anyway, if anybody does know a Thanksgiving song, maybe just keep it to yourself. I don't think we need to know about that. But any topics or comments, questions, anything like that, email us at hate.pod.music@gmail.com.
Nice.
Going to get into a couple segments
Okay,
here.
cool. I like these.
Okay, cool.
These are fun.
Yeah. I think this will be good. Let's start with T-shirt of the day.
Oh, I'm wearing.
T-shirt of the day. It's a T-shirt of the day.
What the hell's this, dude?
Ew, what are you wearing?
Let's find
What the
out.
fuck?
It's a T-shirt of the day.
What the hell is that, dude? That's hilarious.
Uh,
You fucking put that together or what? It's amazing.
no, let's listen to it one more time real
Okay,
quick
yeah, I won't interrupt this time. I was
Without-
shocked by that.
without any laughing.
Okay.
Here we go.
It's T-shirt of the day. It's a T-shirt of the day. Ew, what are you wearing?
Let's find out.
It's a T-shirt of the day.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fucking like a professional like commercial or
It does.
like a
Yeah,
jingle. Like
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Juicy Fruit commercial or something.
If you had to guess who made that, who would you guess?
I don't know.
It's
Dude.
It's not me.
You did not do that. I have no idea. Could it be Jori? Because he was telling me about some weird music that he does. And he did this one little like strange album that he did all in one take.
Yeah.
And he's done some other shit for you.
It's not Jori. It's a great guess. It's not Jori. That's Adam Stacey from Secret Chiefs 3.
Adam, of course.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
that's actually him, and his wife is going, "Ew, what are you wearing?"
No way.
And then his son says, "Let's find out." And then his son does the death growls at the end. T-shirt.
Wow,
of the
holy
day.
crap.
Yeah.
Damn, it's a family affair.
It is. Let's listen to it one more time
Yeah.
because I think it's just so well done.
That's so great.
Here we go.
It's T-shirt of the day. It's a T-shirt of the day. Ew, what are you wearing? Let's find out. It's a T-shirt of the day.
Amazing.
Isn't it?
Dude.
Isn't it amazing?
Really great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's catchy. It's
Yeah.
got a nice little jingle. It's almost like a Gilligan's Island jingle kind of thing.
I was just like,
Incredible, dude.
yeah, I asked him to do that. I was like, hey, would you want to do this for like a segment intro? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. But that guy is I don't like to use the word talent.
Oh, wow.
But he is,
I mean,
dude.
I
he's
haven't
crazy
seen
good.
him or I don't know much about, but just being in any of those bands, you have to be so skilled.
Oh my God.
So.
When I was living in Wisconsin, I watched like just a Stratosphere videos
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So it's been really weird to like actually become a friend with him
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's like this person I always saw playing accordion and piano.
Yeah.
Dude, if you YouTube like a Stratosphere and like see him playing like keyboards, he does this like improv shit. He's just like,
Jesus.
but he's always like, oh, I'm kind of like self-taught.
Yeah,
I don't really know what I'm doing.
he's so humble.
Yeah,
this
but
guy.
then he did that and like,
That's a humble brag.
yeah, yeah.
He's
Jesus
a talented
Christ,
guy. And he's
yeah.
super friendly too.
Oh, he's great, and he's a huge supporter of the podcast.
He is. He gave us some compliments the last time I saw him. He gave
That's
me
good. He didn't give me any. He missed
No,
just
good.
like your parts.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
right.
Yeah. So, what is your T-shirt of the day?
None Shall Thrive, which is a acoustic metal band from Oakland, I think.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they've only put this EP out in 2015, and recently they put another song. But look at that cool shirt, dude.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, did you wear that specifically because of
I was
tonight?
like, he's
Okay.
gonna fucking ask me what shirt I'm
Dude,
wearing.
I only did that once, and you
Well, I wanted to be ready this time.
were ready. I didn't know if you'd even think about that because I only did it that one time.
They're really great, though. None Shall Thrive. Check them out. It's kind of a weird,
Jesus.
different type of acoustic. It's not. He's almost like banging on it like a drum or something, but it's
Okay.
not. It's not electric. I wish we could put
Interesting.
it on, even if that's possible. Really quickly, just
Yeah, sure.
It's
Sure,
on Bandcamp.
Sure.
yeah. This dude. Our friend Irish Terry.
Yeah.
He told me about them because he's on Bandcamp all the time, and he thought I would dig them, and indeed I did. So I was stoked to find
Indeed,
this guy.
you
And
did.
look at the 2015 album. I think it's EP or something. There's probably a brand new one that just got put out, but
2015. I see a. Is it No More Answers? Yeah.
yeah,
2015.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay, I'm gonna
Really
play.
interesting.
I'm gonna play just a little bit of
Just
this.
a little snippet. Yeah.
Here we go. Just a little taste.
Yes.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Different.
It's like he's just pounding on all of it. Like,
yeah, totally.
I like all the fret buzz there. Like you can hear all the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember Ancient Wisdom?
I do.
Yeah.
Ancient Wisdom.
That first album they put out was really great.
Not to be confused with the Ancient Wisdom from Sweden.
2 V's in this guy's band.
Yeah.
I think it was a kind of a solo thing like this, almost like a pagan, primal, kind of like a chanting around the fire kind of music.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that, but
that's really cool. Yeah. I dig that.
That's what I'm wearing. What are you wearing?
Actually, I don't remember. Oh, Napalm Death, Harmony Corruption.
Nice.
I don't need to play that.
No.
Everybody knows that shit.
Good stuff, though.
Yeah. One of my favorite death metal, grindcore records.
Of course.
Yeah.
Classic. Man, that jingle still blows my mind.
Right?
You totally surprised me with that.
Okay.
Nice one.
I have another thing here, but I wasn't prepared for this part. I kind of fucked that up.
Okay. No problem.
So give me a second.
No problem.
I'm going to mark this because that was my one mistake for the day.
It's all right. You'll have to do a little editing. How do you mark it like that? Double enter?
Double enter, yeah, and it just does a little...
Got to get good at those
deal.
Keys.
Okay, and
it just marks it at the very top. I see that.
Yeah, and it has like this little yellow mark there.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Okay, did that work? Okay, there it is. Okay. All right, next one. We did this last time with a little trick-or-treat action by the band Fastway, the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, you're going to ask me what song this is.
Yeah. You ready?
Is it so obscure that I won't get it, or is it gettable?
Well, this is the hard part because it's like so not fun if you don't know what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like, how do you pick this shit?
You got to think about what I'm gonna know, what I'm not gonna know.
Right, but then like,
That's too easy then.
But then what do I do? Like play an Iron Maiden song?
Exactly.
Like no.
Yeah,
but then I play you like something you do know, and you're like, I know this sort of, but I don't recognize it. It's like this is a really bad idea.
Kind of is.
So the Fastway one made sense in a way because it was topical.
Sure.
And I'm like, I think you know this movie.
Okay.
Can you name the band? And you killed it.
Yeah. So.
Speaking of Jori, I was talking to Jori, and I was like, "Do you have any ideas for like a new one?" And this was his idea, and I think it works.
A new segment?
No, like a new idea for like something to play you.
Okay,
to see
cool.
If you could recognize it.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know. It's interesting.
Don't make me look like a fool, Walton.
Yeah, well, it's not what it's about. But this is interesting on a few layers.
Okay.
And that's why Jori nailed it with this.
Nice.
So.
Okay.
You ready for this shit?
Ready, bro. What the fuck, you guys? Did Jori do this one or Adam do this one too? Amazing. Can we hear that again? No, I won't talk over this.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's stump Nick.
So fucking smooth.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Give me one guess.
Adam again.
Nope.
Jory.
No, but it's somebody
Who
you know.
else?
It's somebody you know.
Let's stump Nick. I mean, it's so smooth. It's almost like fucking Billy Ocean or something.
Jazzy. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
That's our good friend, Nathanael Larochette.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah, he made that for us.
Wow.
Little segment
Did you ask him to do that?
Yeah.
And why did you think he would even do that for you? Or?
Why wouldn't he? I was
know.
like, he's a fan of the podcast, and I was like, hey, like,
that's amazing.
Got this little thing. Like, would you want to do it? And he's like, fuck yeah, I would love to. So I think it took him a couple days. Adam, it took a couple days too. But, yeah. You
guys are really blowing my mind.
Well, that's good. That's what I'm here for. All right, are you ready for this?
Yes,
one?
ready.
Okay, here we go.
Amorphous.
No, you're on the right track.
Entombed.
Here's where it's interesting. I didn't know this.
Dude, of course we know this. Dismember?
No. Okay. What I'm saying is, yes, Entombed.
Entombed, yeah.
But listen.
Okay.
I mean, this is not Entombed.
Oh, it's a cover? Somebody doing it? They ripped it off a movie? Or... No way!
Yes.
What the fuck?
Dude.
Oh, is it from a movie?
Yes.
Oh, we should know this. What movie is it from?
Do you want me to tell you?
Well, no. This is a soundtrack of a movie.
Yeah, and Entombed used it
in their song.
Left Hand Path. Yeah.
It's not. It's like Children of the Corn. It's not
very well known.
Yeah, exactly. I know this is. Obviously not Halloween or Friday the 13th or The Exorcist. It's fucking iconic. That's an iconic piano kind of Exorcist Halloween style.
I only knew it from Left Hand Path though, and Jori brought it up, and I was like, "Are you serious? Like that's amazing."
I'm gonna kick myself not knowing this movie, dude.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. What is it? I'm ready to give up.
Phantasm.
Fucking Phantasm, dude. I watched that probably a year ago. That's how bad. Like I didn't put it together or whatever.
I had no idea. No idea. Yeah, Jori's like,
that's amazing.
Oh, you could do the Phantasm theme because Entombed used it.
Yeah.
Left Hand Path.
Yeah,
I'm like,
amazing.
wait, what? They did? Like I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's pretty
incredible.
cool.
Incredible. Yeah. Wow. Good one, dude.
Yeah.
Phantasm with a P. PH.
Just like the band. I think there's a Midwestern Phantasm, right?
Oh, there was? Oh,
yeah,
I thought you were talking about fish.
Oh, well, like that too. The PH.
Yeah.
Okay. Last little segment.
Okay.
You ready for this shit?
Don't tell me you have another jingle.
No. I couldn't.
How could it be?
I wish I couldn't pull it together.
Do it real quick. Do your own little jingle.
My own little. Well, this is the Fuck, Marry, Kill segment.
Fuck, Marry, Kill. I don't know. We could do something.
How about this?
Fuck, marry, kill.
You motherfucker, dude. Holy shit. Wow. Oh, my God. Oh, fuck, dude. Who did that one?
Let's listen to it again. You ready?
I won't talk.
Okay. Here we go.
Fuck, marry, kill. What would you fuck? What would you marry? What would you kill?
That's incredible, dude. Somebody who did this is good on the banjo. It's good on electric guitar.
Spoons.
Some spoons.
He actually used spoons on his knee.
Jesus Christ. Who's this?
That's Jori.
Oh, my God.
Yep. Our friend Jori from
this podcast has some talented friends.
Right? Yeah.
Incredible.
It's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah. He has that nice like country twang and the banjo
so
and the
that was his voice, his
yeah.
instrumentation.
Yeah.
Man, impressed. I was a little disappointed you didn't have one, and then you surprised me.
Oh man, you totally set me up. You're like, well, you do one. How would you do it? I'm like, just like this. Bam.
I didn't even do that on purpose.
It's so good.
Oh God.
Okay.
Fuck,
marry, kill.
Nice. I'm gonna have to come up with one for you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Neil Peart.
Okay.
Sean Reinert.
Yep.
Dave Lombardo.
Oh God.
That's some Sophie's Choice shit right there.
That is. It really is. I can't kill anybody. Not any of those. I would fuck all of them.
What about Mary, though?
That's the thing. Mary would be one of them. Dave Lombardo for me.
Yeah.
Neil Peart's so important. I'll have to say fuck him. But, like, in a sexual way.
Right.
Yeah. And then Sean. I mean,
But you can't kill Sean Reinert. He was on Human, dude.
I know, man. I know. But Neil Peart is fucking genius, dude. Well, they're all geniuses. Dave Lombardo's so special to my heart, you know.
They all are, yeah. I couldn't answer it either. I did this, and I was like,
that's impossible.
I mean, if I were to marry, it might be Sean Reinert. But also, Dave his catalog is so wide and varied,
exactly,
you know. I'd probably have to kill Neil because I'm not the biggest Rush fan.
Okay, that's fair.
I like the music that Sean and Dave have done better.
Yeah. Amazing.
But I couldn't kill any of them because
No.
that's just horrible.
I feel bad about that.
Did you hear that Sean's husband just died?
Yeah, I saw that just today.
Yeah, like today or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
I saw that today.
Yeah.
Maybe we should kill Dave Lombardo since he's the only one that actually isn't dead.
Well, then, I mean, that does kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Sort of.
But I love his fills, his drum fills.
Oh, my God.
And his rhythms.
Yeah. Yeah, so good.
That's a tough one.
I know.
So the object of the game might be to find one that's an obvious like kill, or not so obvious, but just somebody that's like maybe you could have put I can't even think of one. The drummer from Limp Bizkit or something,
right?
Like, you know,
yeah.
like fuck that guy.
But then that's too obvious.
Yeah, that's
I think it's important for them
to all be equal.
I mean,
almost.
this one's impossible.
Yeah.
But I feel like the last one, Cynic, Death, Atheist.
Yeah.
Like there's enough variables there
That's right.
where it's like, well, okay, like we love them all, but
yes, exactly.
this one, I knew this was a tough one.
Consistently, everything they do has been good. These
Yeah.
three guys.
Yeah.
So
And hugely important and influential
So.
too. Fucking Cynic, dude.
Thanks for the shirt, by the way.
Oh, of course. Well, thanks for the Mortiz shirt.
No problem.
I think that's all I have, man.
That was great.
That was great.
That was so good. Almost 2 hours. So
Yeah, almost 2 hours. I try to keep it hour and a half, 2 hours tops. So,
perfect. Yep.
yeah,
That's perfect.
It should be good. That was really good. I mean, Nathaniel's been an old friend.
Yeah,
And just getting his opinions and all that shit was
He was
really cool.
perfect for that episode. Really was.
Yeah.
I'm glad we could do that and reach out to people like that.
Totally. Yeah, that was a first, and that worked really well. It sounded really good.
Totally.
As far as I could tell on our end.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. Well, thanks again.
Yep.
For
Thank you.
Let's
do it again soon, and yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
do some riffing.
For sure. Let's get some.
No guests, and we'll just do a cool episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Another one.
Another cool episode. All right. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. Visit the earthandsound.org website for merch. Give us a star or 2, 5 would be cool if you want. I don't know how that
No
shit
pressure.
works. Yeah.
No pressure.
Subscribe on whatever you subscribe
Yeah,
on.
smash that subscribe like we always say.
Yeah, I mean, all that shit that people always say, I guess it's important. And I would like to get more listeners, you know.
Sure, why not?
It'd be nice. So, yeah, do all that shit. Email us. Emailing us is hugely important. It gives us things to talk about. It gives us feedback. It gives us inspiration to talk about shit that we wouldn't talk about otherwise.
And listen to obscure Alaskan bands.
Alaskan, and then last time, that last one, though,
Jesus.
that Brazilian band.
Yeah.
They're doing the
What was
Sisters of
it?
Mercy.
That's
Sisters
right.
of Mercy cover.
That's right. Very good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, I will be in Denver this weekend.
Yeah, have a good time
for the Decibel Metal
dude.
Fest.
Amazing.
I believe you're seeing Suicidal this weekend.
Suicidal on Sunday. Friday. Sorry. Yep. Suicidal.
Suicidal on
night.
Friday.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Playing all the first album.
Dude, that's so cool. I saw today it was sold out.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw it
wow.
sold out.
That's
I would
cool.
have loved to have gone.
Yeah, you keep missing them.
But I've never seen them ever. Always miss them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But duty calls.
Duty calls, and then what you're doing is way more important.
Yeah.
Bring in tears to the first row.
Tears to the first row. Yep.
Maybe even beyond that, dude.
Maybe.
I mean, I was like in the middle, and I teared up.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully, I want to make everybody cry, you know? That's the goal.
Yep.
All right, man. Well,
All right.
yeah, we'll talk soon.
Check you later. Bye.
Bye.
An Earth in Sound production.